Hey, welcome to Ultimate Survival Tips. I'm David, coming to you from the lush green highlands of north central Pennsylvania, where I'm going to look at a really special survival knife today, the Buck Hoodlum. Let's get started. So the Hoodlum was designed for buck knives by wilderness survival legend, the late Ron Hood. It's a very large, US-made knife that has a 10-inch or 25-centimeter long fine-edged blade, which is about twice the length of a typical wilderness survival knife, and it comes with a very suitable nylon sheath. Larger survival knives like the Hoodlum can be great for chopping, clearing, batoning, bushcraft, and self-protection, but are often very heavy due to the length of the knife and the extra thickness needed to keep such a long blade from bending or breaking under stress. So the additional weight of most larger survival knives can make them a challenge to carry and use for extended periods. However, Buck seems to have overcome the weight and blade strength issues by using 5160 carbon steel and tooling the blade to remove unnecessary material. 5160 carbon steel was originally developed for use in applications like vehicle leaf springs, so it is very strong and made to flex and not break under extreme stress. And this is good for the Hoodlum, because it doesn't need as wide or thick of a blade as many other larger survival knives to be just about as tough. 5160 carbon steel, when compared to popular 1095 carbon steel, is generally tougher, although 1095 steel will usually hold a bit of a better blade. So using 5160 carbon steel in the Buck Hoodlum has kept the weight down and seems to have increased its usefulness. So the Buck Hoodlum weighs in at 14.5 ounces, or 411 grams, compared to the K-Bar Becker BK2. It's made out of 1095 steel and is a bit heavier than the Hoodlum at 14.8 ounces, or 419 grams. The Schrade Extreme Survival Knife SCHF9, which is also made out of 1095 steel, weighs in at a hefty 16.2 ounces, or around 458 grams, which is almost 2 ounces heavier than the Hoodlum. Now the Hoodlum steel at the spine is still nearly a 1/4 inch wide, or 6 millimeters, so this is a beefy blade. But interestingly, the primary bevel of the Hoodlum starts at the blade spine instead of about a third of the width of the blade from the spine like most knives. Starting the primary bevel at the spine further reduces the weight of this knife, which is good. Now don't get me wrong, weight does have its benefits, especially when chopping. So here I am chopping a tree with a Hoodlum. Its sharp blade and the velocity I can get with each stroke make chopping pretty easy. Oh, and before I forget, the Hoodlum is full tang, meaning the blade steel is one solid piece from tip to butt. Full tang is considered by many experts to be the strongest way to make a knife. Now one more thing about the steel used in this knife. Like 1095 carbon steel, 5160 steel is not stainless, so it will rust if not cared for. So be diligent to wipe down and clean off your knife regularly, and make sure to apply a thin coat of mineral oil to your blade edge, and you should be just fine, since the rest of this blade is covered in what seems to be a pretty durable powder coating. Now the Hoodlum only comes in a 100% fine-edged blade, as does its little brother, the Hood Punk. Now my Buck Hoodlum came shaving sharp and has stayed sharp through my use over the past several weeks. Now let's talk a little bit more about the blade. The Hoodlum has very long, straight clip point blade, which means the knife spine was clipped off straight from about 4 inches from the point, starting about where this notch is. A general clip point like this is going to be pretty strong and similar to a drop point blade. It makes for a slightly pointier tip, is more suitable for piercing, getting into small places, and doing other stuff like preparing game. Now on the spine of the blade we have this notch groove that can be used to score bone in wood, bend wire, or remove cooking gear with a handle from a campfire. Now toward the handle on the blade side we have this generous choil, which aids in sharpening the entire edge and provides a suitable place to wrap my finger to get more control of the Hoodlum for fine cutting tasks. But as always when using a choil, be careful because your finger is right next to the blade. On the spine side of this blade, we have this bump that helps provide more leverage when using the choil. We also have this jimping that provides a bit more thumb grip. Now let's talk about the handle. The handle of the Hoodlum is made out of micarta, a tough, durable, man-made laminate material. The handle slabs on my Hoodlum are green, and are contoured to fit the ergonomic curves and cutouts of the handle steel. And it's really good that there are pretty sizable handle cutouts for my fingers, because when dry, the micarta handles are a bit slick, since there's no grooves or grippy notching on the surface of the slabs. My leather gloves help a lot. Surprisingly, when wet, The grip of the micarta seems to raise a bit, make the handles a bit more grippy, wet than dry. Now under the micarta there's a bonded cushioning material between the slabs and the tang of the knife that Buck calls SMS, or shock mitigation system. This may help pad the part of your hands that are in contact with the handles, but it's not going to do much for the part of your hand that's directly in contact with the tang of the knife when performing tasks like chopping. But all in all, the handle of the Hoodlum is pretty comfortable in my hand. It should work out well for adults with small, medium, and large hands. Now here's a cool feature. The micarta handle slabs are designed to be easily removed in a survival situation so that the Hoodlum can be lashed to a pole to make a very formidable spear. To remove the handle, simply remove these two flathead screws. Underneath we have this weight-reducing cutout that doubles as a mighty fine place to lash the spear to a pole. Now once you remove the handle screws, you may have to tighten them occasionally. Now on the butt end of the knife, we have a large lanyard hole and a sizable pommel for breaking, smashing, and hammering things. Now let's talk about the sheath. The Buck Hoodlum comes with about the best quality ballistic nylon sheath that we've seen. The sheath has a large, thick polymer insert that allows for right or left hand carry. Now the fit of the knife in the sheath is not tight at all. It actually wiggles around quite a bit and requires two restraint systems to ensure that the knife stays in the sheath. The first is this nylon handle strap and snap closure. The second is this heavy nylon cord and locking stay system. This double restraint system is a bit inconvenient, but considering the length and quality of this knife and sheath, they're tolerable and more than suitable. On the front of the sheath, we have a sizable pouch for survival gear and stuff like a sharpening stone. And the pouch closes with this adjustable clip and strap system. Toward the bottom front of the sheath, we have two Velcro and two elastic straps that you can use to secure more gear to the sheath. By using these 6 grommet holes, the sheath can be lashed to things like a backpack. On the back of the sheath, we have several rows of MOLLE straps. So this sheath is MOLLE compatible. And last but not least, we have this Velcro flip and tuck belt carry strap system that makes it easy to attach the sheath to any belt up to about 2 inches or 5 centimeters in width without removing it. Now let's take a look at owner comments. Owners love the versatility of this knife, and almost everyone appreciates how light it is for its size. Most comment on its quality build, ability to hold an edge, and how it can handle large and small tasks, and just about everyone likes what they get for the price. Some comment on how slick the micarta handle can be, and others wish the sheath held the knife tighter and was a little less of a hassle to use. Well, we rate the Buck Hoodlum at 4 out of 5 stars for its simple, practical, rugged, and functional design, its thoughtful weight-reducing innovations, including the use of 5160 steel in this huge 10-inch blade. We love that the Hoodlum is made in the good old USA, and we really enjoyed the versatility of the Hoodlum as a capable all-in-one survival blade that, in a pinch, can function in place of a hatchet for chopping or a machete for clearing. We like that the Hoodlum handles are made to remove so that the knife can easily be lashed to a pole to make a spear, and the fact that the Hoodlum can baton and split with the best of them. It's great for large and small bushcraft tasks and suitable for just about any survival task that you might expect a bladed tool to perform. We took off a star because the handle's not very grippy, and even with the dual straps on the sheath, the knife still moves around a bit. And although the size of this knife can be a real big positive, this is not a low-profile knife by any means, or something that you're going to want to carry around with you on your belt all the time. So who's the Buck Hoodlum knife for? The Buck Hoodlum is a great choice for those who want a very large, lightweight, super rugged knife that's capable of performing the widest range of survival, camping, emergency, and bushcraft tasks, and is lightweight enough to carry all day. It's a great knife for bug-out bags, emergency kits, camping, hiking, bushcraft, hunting, extreme adventures, survival training, and for those who are looking for one reliable knife that they can depend on to do just about anything in a pinch. And with its online street price around $150 US and Buck's great warranty, the Hoodlum is a blade well worth saving your pennies to get. For the same great characteristics of the Hoodlum, in a smaller package, check out the Buck Hood Punk. For a smaller, stout, proven, and popular bushcraft and survival knife at about half the price of the Hoodlum, check out the K-Bar Becker BK2 or the Schrade Extreme Survival Knife SCHF 9 or SCHF-10 for another huge, rugged, virtually indestructible, and largely undiscovered stainless steel survival blade for less than $50 US. Check out the Smith & Wesson Homeland Security knife. And for more of a tactical combat survival knife, check out my reviews of the Gerber LMF2 or SOG SEAL Team Elite. We've just taken a look at the Buck Hoodlum survival knife. For your convenience, I've included links to all the knives that I've mentioned in the video description on YouTube. Just click the Show More tab under this video. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And for more gear reviews, survival tips, and survival news, check out ultimatesurvivaltips.com. And while you're there, grab our monthly survival e-mag, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter to get the latest news and be the first to hear about the great gear giveaway contests we have planned. Okay, this is David. I hope to see you on the other side, and remember, be prepared because you never know.